Hey, what's up? I got some more lore content for you guys. My name is Tempo. I've been playing and making content for Riot's card game since its closed beta, specializing in beginner content to help you get into the game, along with peaking rank 1 multiple times on ladder. And I will be your guide for what decks to invest in early, so you can get a jump start in Legends of Runeterra. So before we get into it, there's a few things I'd like to catch you up on so that we're all on the same page. Riot has just implemented a new rotation of cards. This basically means that some cards aren't playable in the standard format anymore. This includes some cards from the tutorial structure decks. This is pretty confusing for new players because we were not given new decks that can be played in standard, so I'm having to work around this and adjust the basic decks as best as I can for you guys. After the tutorial, once you start the PvP side of things, you have an XP bar where you unlock the decks just by playing the game, along with the PvP game modes. I recommend playing the challenges in the play menu to get the base versions of the decks that I'm covering in this video. The next thing you'll want to do is go into the description of this video and copy the deck codes onto your clipboard if you're on PC. Open the LoR client, go to Collection, and then click on Import Deck once you have a code. Name it something and then click Import so you can start working towards completing your decks as you get resources. If you're on mobile, click on the website link and find the Copy Deck Code button. Open the LoR app and it's the same process. As you get wildcards and shards, you'll go to your deck of choice, right-click on the cards that have red numbers, and use the resources accordingly. Quick tip, make sure to use your wildcards first. Only use the green shards on champions and sometimes epics. Never spend them on common or rare cards. There's also this fancy buy all button, but it calculates you spending IRL money, and if you want to, then hey, more power to you. The option is there. Until you can complete these decks, I recommend playing the basic versions that you start off with. With that, we can finally talk about the refined versions of these decks that I recommend building towards and climbing with as you discover your favorite playstyle in LoR. It'll probably take a week of consistent play to finalize one of these decks. You cannot craft them as is day one, obviously, since the game doesn't give you any additional cards to work with, but I'm giving you a strong direction to work towards. Make sure to check out my tips and tricks guide for how to get cards as quickly as possible. For this beginner video, I wanted the theme to be variety, so I went ahead and made a beginner deck for each of the 3 main playstyles in LoR. That way there's a little something for everyone. We'll be starting off with a fast and aggressive aggro deck, before slowing it down with a mid-range deck, and finally slowing it down even more with a reactive control deck. And getting right into the first deck, we have Gnar Burn, which is a variation of a popular deck from a long time ago called Bandle Burn. Because of the most recent rotation, a lot of aggressive champions and other aggro strategies have been rotated out, so this one was kind of difficult to put together. So if it looks a little bit scuffed, that's why. On the flip side though, this deck is pretty budget since it's not super champion reliant. It's more about the units that you put in and how you attack with them that really count. So we are only running one champion, and that is Gnar. We get 2 Gnar from the Shrooms and Booms structure deck, so you will have to craft the third one or replace him with something else. Since this is an aggro deck, the main strategy is going to be put out a lot of pressure in the early game, play a bunch of 1 and 2 cost units, and attack relentlessly before your opponent can even develop a strategy. One of the cool aspects about running Bandle City with Noxus to create Bandle Burn is that most of the time, aggro decks will run out of steam, especially in the mid and late game. However, this deck is really easy on the resources because you get to generate more cards from Conchologist, while Glare will help you draw a card while also hopefully dealing with an opponent's unit. But yeah, the deck is loaded with a bunch of direct damage and aggressive keywords to help you get to those very quick lethals. However, it does also have some pretty strong mid-game options with Gnar and Gnar leveling, Red Barb Razor Mace, making it to where the opponent gets a Ichor in their hand, and at the start of every turn they take passive damage unless they spend the 3 mana to get rid of the Ichor card, and it can stack as well if you are attacking with multiple Red Barb Razor Maces. This will stack, it'll be like 6 cost for 2 damage every turn, so it's really annoying for the opponent if they can't deal with your Razor Mace right away, so really strong mid-game threat. Along with Teeny Dactyl basically doing a similar effect. Round start, deal 1 to the enemy nexus, and this can help you chip away at the opponent and finish off that last little bit of damage that you need to close out the game. And that's it for the deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game so you can see how the deck plays out. I'll be giving context to why I'm playing certain cards, and hopefully it gives you a good feel on how to play the deck. So for this example game, we'll be going up against Morgana and Mordekaiser, which is going to be a very prominent deck in this meta. So we'll see if we can compete with it. We do have a couple 1-cost cards. We have Red Barb Razor Mace, and we have Legion Grenadier. So when playing aggro, the most important thing to think about when you are mulliganing is the attack turn. See how the opponent has the attack token on turn 1? That means they're going to attack on odds. We're going to attack on evens. Little general rule of thumb when you are playing an aggressive 1-drop focus deck. When you're attacking on evens, you want to mulligan everything that isn't a 1-drop. Until you have 3 1-cost cards. That way we can try to play them all out by attack turn 2. So hopefully we can get that hand. So we'll start with Legion Rearguard, since it does slightly more damage than the Precious Pet. And then if we top deck a 1-cost, we'll play Precious Pet plus the top deck. We did! There we go, see? This is exactly why you mulligan so aggressively. Now we have a triple 1-drop opener, which puts the pressure on them right from our first attack turn. There we go, triple 1-drops. Go ahead and block this. 3-1 there. Is 0-1 also going to block? No, okay. So they are taking 5 damage on our very first attack turn. That's already 1/4 of their total life. Albeit, they probably have some healing in there as well, which is kind of annoying. This deck is all about the mid and late game combo potential of Morgana and Mordekaiser. So they have lifesteal, you know, things like that. Things to also slow down the game, so it's going to be kind of annoying. We have to keep up the pressure and not let up. I think here we could probably play the Conchologist and get a spell. I kind of like Lightning Rush. It's a recall. That way we can get on-play effects while also dealing 2 damage to something. We can choose an enemy unit, or we can choose the enemy Nexus. That flexibility will probably be really important later. Now we are on turn 4. We have a couple options. We can either do first action attack with our current board, or we can develop 2 costs, or we can play a 4-cost. So they have 5 total mana. That's enough to do most of their kill spells. I kind of want to do an open attack and play Gnar so we can get Gnar level, or Teeny and get Teeny level. Teeny is actually a little bit more important than Gnar. That would be like our best case scenario. While also making it so where they can't get a block action. Essentially, they can't put down a unit. We're just doing first action attack. They have to block with what's currently on the board. And if they want to take 0 damage this turn, then they'd have to kill my Precious Pet, which they are not doing. Looks like they're doing Glimpse Beyond. We will resolve that. There's a world where we could do Lightning Rush and try to prevent it. Albeit, that would leave us susceptible to a spell of theirs. But, of course, we want to keep our mana and just play the Teeny Dactyl. Very strong pressure to get right on turn 4, so when you're attacking on evens, pretty good play to go for. Open attack with a more developed board than the opponent, and then play the Teeny pretty safely after. And now we have that extra damage going in, so we can play Gnar. Ooh. Yeah, I kind of like Gnar here. Because then Gnar will also vulnerable the Morgana, allowing us to grab her on round start. And she can swing right now and heal. I guess that's okay. If they so desire, they can heal for 3, sure. I will not be blocking here, as that's pretty bad. We'll get our Gnar level. The reason why Gnar's leveling is because of the round start damage from Pterodactyl. So it's a good little 1-2 combo to play them back to back as well. Alright, so here we will do the Shackles. That way we can attack with Pterodactyl, because that's part of Morgana's effect. Make sure to read all the cards when you can as well, guys. Take the time, learn what each card does and all the interactions. So we will grab Morgana, and then we also swing here, here, and here. We're attacking with Quick Attack, which means as long as the strike resolves, Morgana will die and not deal any damage back, which is nice, because that will prevent lifesteal. That's part of Gnar's power when he gets level 2. He's very, very good. He also has Quick Attack level 1, but he's so strong at 2. Death Grasp. Okay, kill an ally to deal 5 to a unit. I think I will attempt to recall my Conchologist to prevent the Death Grasp from resolving. Now they have to be on another spell, which they could be. They have 4 mana, 6 cards in hand. But this is like my best play if it works. Oh, it worked! Son of a gun. So because the Death Grasp lost its target, it can no longer resolve. Thank God for spell chains resolving backwards. Feels good for me. Kill a unit with total power and health 5 or less. Well, you can't do that. Oh, you can. You can kill my precious pet. You can't kill something good. Alright, Chapter 2. Drain the enemy Nexus 2. Alright. Well, good luck. You have empty board. 7 mana. 7 cards in hand. And a story landmark. Sure. So what's the best way for us to get to 7? 2, 5, 7, like that. Should I even play Conchologist though? I kind of like going Grenadier, Ballista, like Stacker, something like that. Yeah, no matter what, we're probably going to do a 2 cost. So let's play one of those. Because we could do like Grenadier, Stone Stackers. That's probably like maximum attack damage we can do. Grenadier, Ballista. It's even more. So, oh, another Morgana. Alright, I'm going to do the Iron Ballista here, because that shows a blocker for the Morgana, which I will do, right? But I lose my Ballista. It might be better to just grab her on the end with Gnar. Yeah. A bit annoying. Let's do the Conchologist. I actually want the spell option, in case something weird happens. To play, discard a card, summon a Reborn Grenadier and give it 2/0. No, let's do this.
Astounding curiosities lie ahead.
I like the extra 2 damage for attack. Alright, so we're going to Vulnerable the Morgana again. And then, same strategy before they can do a block. Like summon a guy from hand, I will just do this. Swing with everything, grab Morgana on the far end, send it. Alright. If I wanted to push like max damage and try to threaten lethal, I would have done like Conchologist grab the Morgana, but that's also assuming they had no response. I'm trying to play it a little bit safe too, in case anyone was wondering. That is why I didn't go for the pull. Sure. I believe that is okay. I'm going to do weapon hilts on you. That is now +2 damage on them. Nice. So far, so good. Then I can play the Legion Grenadier here. Ah, they're gonna go for Hot Cocoa. More healing. Yeah, unfortunately, because of the rotation, there's a lot less aggro, and there's a lot more control. So if you are wanting to play an aggro deck, it is an uphill battle. It is an uphill battle for sure, this patch. Do a little spit. I love him on triple Stone Stacker, that's kind of goofy. They have 1 HP and a dream. 3 HP, and more dreams. Little Ironhound angle, okay. And then another one. Also fine. Alright. Now I will do... how about this? I want to give the +2 attack to the Conchologist, which will make him a fearsome blocker, and also will trade into one of the 1,000-clawed Deathwinders when they swing. Oh, you're only swinging with that? What? Okay. Then I will block with said Conchologist so that I can swap him out for a Stone Stacker. That is even more damage. So I will be taking that. Now we can do Impact, Impact. Oh, I have to worry about that Morgana though. That's kind of annoying. Let's do Quick Attack, Overwhelm, and then we can do Impact, Impact, Death. Actually, Overwhelm.
Got something for 'em? Victory
Alright,
at any cost.
let's try this attack order. It does slightly matter because of the lifesteal unit, so I want to put things that outplay lifesteal first. So Gnar has quick attack overwhelm, we have impact, we have overwhelm over the Morgana.
Pain must be felt.
You are still very dead. And even if they magically come up with a solution here, I have another teeny dactyl, so as long as any damage gets through, which it should. Hello, Morgana level 2.
I am your truth.
That's fine. Then we win. Okay, look at that. Alright, no more healing, please. I actually really want to do the teeny dactyl spit lethal. I think that would be a very poetic end.
Run while you can.
Yeah, just play like Mordekaiser or something and then pass. Yeah, there. Whoa! I don't know how I called that, guys. That's kind of crazy.
Fight free, it will make no difference.
Very cool. Got to see all the fancy level up animations at the end. And Mordekaiser's a 6/9 stat line. Nice. But I will play the teeny dactyl here. And that's showing lethal. Round start, spit to face, GG. Handshake to Morgana Mordekaiser. One of the strongest decks this game has ever seen, actually. Little spit, little Haktua. And for the next deck, we have one of my personal favorites. It's been a hot minute since I got to cover dragons, but they are back thanks to this recent rotation, and they are just as strong as ever. So while the previous deck was more about playing a bunch of units and going wide on the board and attacking relentlessly, dragons is more about setting up 1 or 2 units as like your focal points, and then playing around them with buffs and strike spells, whittling down the opponent's strategy whenever they try to set one up. It's very much so big number equals big damage equals big win. Really simple, really linear playstyle, and it makes it a great mid-range deck for new players to pick up, along with the fact that you get to play around the dragon synergy, and that's a lot of fun just in general, and dragons are really cool. So a couple key notes for the deck is going to be cards that synergize with dragons, obviously, like Dragon Chow and Dragon Guard Lieutenant in the early game. As long as you have a dragon in play or in your hand, you get the effect. That's really nice. That's also super important for one of your late game cards, which is the Dragon Guard Lookout, which allows you to attack a second time on your attack turn if you've already used your attack token, or it allows you to attack on your defense turn. Both really, really important, especially from ahead, because if you're already winning on the board, you create a attack snowball that is too hard for your opponent to come back from when you have your big setup and you're attacking multiple times. Another key mechanic would be the striking mechanic via single combat and also strafing strike. So this makes one of your allies and one of your opponent's units do combat. Upon resolution of the combat, if your dragon kills that unit, you also get a buff via Fury. That's why these mechanics go so well together, and you will always see dragons with strike spells. It allows your dragons to grow so much so quickly and just become out of control. Another really cool combo is to play Eclipse Dragon right on turn 7 as your Daybreak, which means it is the first card played in the round, because that will perfectly curve into Aurelion Soul on turn 8, allowing you to get your big finisher card out 2 turns early. And that's it for the deck rundown. Now all that's left to show you is a live example game, so you can see how the deck plays out. And for this example game, we have Poros, featuring the Poro King, and also Yuumi. So Poros are a really fun swarm deck. I know that Poros are a fan favorite creature in League of Legends and Legends of Runeterra, so really fun deck to play and play against. Alright, so we have Dragon Chow on turn 1. You always love to see that. I think we can always mulligan away Eclipse Dragon unless we see him with a soul already, because those are like 1-2 combo pieces for the late game. And also we're fighting something like slower in general, then it's okay to keep. Otherwise, pitch Eclipse. I think I'll also pitch Screeching Dragon and keep the Shyvana, because 1, Shyvana's our champion. Very important card to play as soon as we can, and we're attacking on evens again, which means Shyvana can be played on attack turn 4. And we also want a dragon in our hand regardless for our dragon synergy cards. So this overall is a very nice hand. This plays out super cleanly. We'll do our Dragon Chow on turn 1. We can do our Lieutenant on 2. Or Herald of Dragons, look at that. Dragon allies cost 1 less. And we're fighting a deck that doesn't have easy access to removal cards, which means our Herald of Dragons is going to live a lot longer than she should. Which means we can get a lot more value out of her. So I want to play Herald. And then we can play Shyvana on turn 3. Yeah, we can also go ahead and attack with our 1-2. It's free damage, might as well take it. Pass. Ooh, and we have another champion. I forgot to mention, because we're only running 2 Aurelion Soul in this deck, we do have technically 1 more champion slot, so Morgana can be put in. She's good. Let's go ahead and play Shyvana. Shyvana will kill the Dragon Chow on play, giving her the Fury proc immediately, which is such a nice innate synergy that the deck has, while also drawing us another card. So we are in a really good spot. That is, why is that swinging? I will block with my Shyvana. There's no way that you have something to make that beat over Shiv. There's just no way. Even if you double Pale Cascade, that's only going to 4 attack. Hush, that's fine. Shyvana still lives. And you go down to 1. And we took a lot of their utility cards out of them, just for Shyvana to still live. So that is A-okay by me. Now, we can do Lieutenant and see what happens. Shyvana attacking will go up to 3. They could have Poro Snacks. Alright, yeah, let's play Dragon Guard Lieutenant. I assume they want to play Poro Snacks this turn. That is a 3 mana investment. Aha, you see? So let's go ahead and do Lieutenant, grabbing the Patch Poro bot, and Shyvana attacking. The reason we're doing the trade like this is because I still want to play around Poro Snacks, and if they do Poro Snacks on the Patch Poro bot, he'll go up to 3, which will block my Shyvana, even with her extra attack stat, or extra HP from attacking. Aha! We prevented the snack usage, so they'll probably just float the mana and keep the snack in their pocket. Ooh, Strafing Strike is nice. I do like that a lot. I kind of want to do... Oh, wow. Yeah, now you definitely can snack. I want to do Morgana, and then, like, open attack, and then play Lookout and attack again. I feel like that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and do Morgana. We are going to target probably the Spell Shield unit to Shackle,
I shall show them what it is.
making it to where they can't attack or block with that unit until they pay 4 mana, which is nice. But yeah, as soon as the Shyvana attack does go through this turn, she will also level. Yeah, let's send it. Boom. See what happens when you play a champion early and then kind of like set that as, like I mentioned in the deck rundown, the focal point. She really is the focal point of this particular game. Sometimes it's a Seraphic Wyvern that gets set up early, sometimes it's Screeching Dragon, sometimes it's Shyvana, sometimes you wait until it's Eclipse and Acel. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get a rally in here.
Now where are they?
And then we can attack again, while also getting a 2 mana Strafing Strike. Ooh, never mind. I was going to say from Shyvana's effect. However, she's now dying. Rest in peace. However, I think we almost win. They can block the 5/5 here, and then they will live. Alright. Really good attack pressure, though. They are on the back foot because of that. Yumi! I mean, hey, if you want to attack with that Poro, you better pay your tax. That's 4 mana to have access to that unit again. And I can attack another time, which is, again, like, it's just so balanced. Poro King? Sure, watch this. Boom. Dragon Guard Lookout. Baby! I can even do single combat and kill Mr. Poro King before combat even starts, if I so desire, which I do. Yep. Easy as that. Get on the board, stay on the board, win the board. And for the final deck rundown, we do have the control deck to go for. Darkness is back for the first time in a long time. I remember recommending this deck over and over and over. If you want to play LoR and you want to play control, you're a new player, it's always this deck. 10 out of 10 times, 100%, you will be playing Darkness because you start with the core Darkness engine as a new player, and it's also really easy to play and is a great gateway for control in Legends of Runeterra. So of course the main theme of the deck is going to be sit back, relax, and shoot the opponent's units with your removal spells. This is a resource-based control deck, which means you always want to stay ahead of your opponent in terms of how many cards you have in your hand, the cards that you have on the board, etc. That way you are basically playing the long con, making the opponent run out of resources to even keep up with you, making them oftentimes surrender because you are just too far ahead. So this deck is going to be generating you cards, it's going to be drawing you cards, it's going to be making a removal spell that is reoccurring. You make it over and over again and you play around it over and over again as you continue to buff it, make it cheaper, and make more of it every single time you play a Darkness Generator card. So if that sounds like something that's up your alley, definitely give this deck a shot. This card right here truly is the star of the show. So it starts as a 3 mana, slow speed, deal 2 damage to an enemy removal spell. Now if you resolve this once, you're already technically like 1 card up on the opponent because they're playing a unit, you're playing a unit that creates darkness. Darkness is killing the opponent's unit. That's putting you ahead. Yes, it takes like more mana for you to do so, but mana isn't really that much of an issue, especially spell mana, because you're able to bank it, play around it, things like that. So you are going to slowly get ahead of the opponent by doing this. There's also a really important card here, Twisted Catalyzer, which on strike, so that's attack or block, your darkness will increase its damage for the rest of the game. That's really good. So if Twisted Catalyzer gets 1 strike in, that's already now a 3 damage darkness instead of a 2 damage one. Now you can also make darkness cheaper by playing the Stilted Robemaker, so any darkness that you generate henceforth will be cheaper, and that's really good. Vhagar will also buff it and generate you 1, and then your other champion, Senna, will speed up your darkness. That's right, it goes from slow speed spell to fast speed spell, meaning you can use it during combat or as a reaction to your opponent's spells as long as she's on the board. So yeah, this deck is going to, again, play it slow, play methodical, let the opponent act, and then you will take the appropriate reaction to slowly gain a lead and make the opponent quit. Or there are some ways for you to actually close out the game later. You can attack with your, bigger board, like let's say you have 2 champions out and like an Ishtali Sentinel. That's pretty relevant damage. You can get some simple attacks in the late game and win that way. However, you can also do something with Vhagar level 2 that a lot of people really, really love, and that is target the enemy nexus directly with your darkness. So if you're amping up darkness over the course of the game with your catalyzer and your Vhagar damage boosting, you can target the enemy nexus for like 8 damage with darkness, and it's really, really goofy. And that also wombo combos with Ishtali Sentinel, which lets you basically double cast darkness. So you can double cast darkness and hit the enemy nexus twice, upwards of like 16 damage if each one is 8, so pretty disgusting. So other than the darkness synergy cards, this deck just runs a plethora of removal spells that have different conditions, different side effects, and also some draw cards. So really, really good. And that's it for the deck rundown. Now here's a live commentary game so you can see how this one plays out. And for this example game, we're going to be fighting Yuumi Kayle. So a deck that wants to enhance their own attack for the Kayle level and probably swing very aggressively. I'd assume they could also have some kind of like, not elusive strategy. Yeah, no, they're going to have the elusives from Kayle. So pretty hard units to deal with. We have Acolyte, Robemaker, and Sentinel. So when you are mulliganing for this deck or control in general, you pretty much want to have a flexible hand. You want a little bit of everything, right? We are playing a toolbox deck, so we want multiple kinds of tools. We can have a couple units. It'd be nice if we also see 1 or 2 removal spells and like 1 or 2 draw cards. For anything that we don't, then that's kind of okay because Conchologist can make one for us, and Dark Bulb Acolyte can make one for us. There is a removal spell. Very nice. This can deal with early game units, champions, or equipment. Giving us that flexibility is very good. Alright, let's play the Dark Bulb Acolyte here, because it shows a pretty good blocker for the Omen Hawk. If we played Conchologist, the Omen Hawk would have just swung into us, and we'd have to make that sacrifice. But this puts us in a slightly better spot, especially since we can now do the Twisted Catalyzer this turn. Okay, they are popping off. I don't often play this deck, so I don't get to hear the voice lines too frequently, but that was kind of funny. I do want Catalyzer to swing this turn for sure, so you go in. So for 2 mana, they can play Pale Cascade. That's a +1/+1 boost. Or they can play Sky Splitter / Troll Chant if either of those are currently in rotation. I'm not caught up, right? This is like my day 1 back from rotation. I don't know every single card that's here, but I do know what mana to play around, and that is 2. 2 mana equals buff spells for these regions. Nice. We got the Darkness buff, and Catalyzer lives to tell the tale, which means we could get even more in the future. Also, we're going to kill that. Since they didn't use a buff spell in combat, that means the Quietus is now safe, because they definitely would have used something. So we can go ahead and take away that resource. No more extra mana gems for you. And then I kind of want to play the Robe Makers, get this Darkness nice and cheap. We'll see though. Because the earlier you play Vhagar, the more damage amping you're going to get, right? Because it's round start, granted Darkness everywhere 1. So as long as it is safe, Vhagar is important to set up as soon as you can.
Good, my Bubba's friend. I totally understood.
But yeah, even for a control deck, I mean, I feel like this has been a pretty simple game plan, you know, from start to finish. Not a ton of options. It's nice. It's pretty linear, pretty easy to play out. Don't feel like I'm getting overwhelmed by anything, so that's good. But I'm also rewarded for everything I am doing.
I want my hat, and I want it now.
Lord Vhagar, you cannot rush perfection.
Oh, wow, that is a big Averrosion Hearth card, though. Holy moly. 10 HP is really hard for us to get to.
The hour approaches.
However, we have Vengeance. Straight up kill a unit. That is always really nice. I kind of want to use them both on same action. In order to do that, you do Darkness and then Vengeance. That way you can use a slow spell and a fast spell at the same time, because I'm casting a slow spell, but I'm also casting a fast spell as a response. This does show them, hey, I'm out for the turn, but I think I'm okay with showing them that. They only have 4 mana themselves. And I want to get rid of these before they go into combat, because they get buffs on attack. That's fine. You get to live. You get to live with 1 HP. You are attacking with that. That means I will block with my Twisted Catalyzer, and he has done his job this game. That is so much Darkness amping. Bonk. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll get our free damage in from the open attack.
Witness true power.
Bonk, bonk, bonk. I cannot do Ishtali Sentinel, because I don't have the 2 mana to play the Darkness after to cast on the Nexus. But that's also, like, they'd have to have a unit for me to target. Okay, they do. So I will have to play the Robe Maker this turn. Make Darkness 1 mana.
And I want it now.
Lord Vhagar, you cannot rush perfection.
And then Conchologist. Let's also grab, I mean, Soul Harvest is nice, Mistcall is nice, Flame Spitter's nice. Let's get the Mistcall. Little defensive option. In case they do like first action Sunburst, kill my Vhagar, then I can just res the Vhagar.
The hour approaches.
Alright, what you gonna do, Yumi!
Play, bop, and knock over some cups.
Alright, I'm playing Sentinel.
Anything can be scattered to its elements.
1 mana,
Even us.
9 damage, Darkness, and it will also cast directly to the enemy Nexus, which means GG this turn. And for added BM, I will be targeting the Kale, killing that on the way out. Look at that little double cast synergy. Ishtali Sentinel creating a direct damage win con. And that's it for this beginner guide. Extra shout out to the patrons on screen. Much love and thank you for supporting. Make sure to like and subscribe if you thought this video helped at all. It really means a lot and shows the video to more people, so hopefully it can be seen by other beginners that need it. Feel free to check out my deck building guide for some tips on how to build your own decks from scratch. Also, come check me out on Twitch. I stream regularly, so come say hi. Thank you so much for watching and have a good one. Laters.